Hey everybody, this is Brett from TopoRanger. Welcome to another episode. Today we are at Donegal Springs in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. We are taking my drone, my underwater drone, for a little spin around the spring pool here. Last time I filmed here, I was inspecting the baptismal font, which is a stonework area where they do baptisms. It's right behind where the drone is right now in this video. I could not find any flow. It just didn't seem like there was any flow coming out of this thing at all. I was kind of puzzled. Donegal Springs discharges something like 4 million gallons a day. It's a nice sized spring, and I just didn't know where the flow was coming from, and it was kind of like a mystery to me. When I arrived this day, I immediately noticed a large school of trout that hadn't been there on my previous trip, and I immediately noticed that they were swimming in a circular pattern directly above that circular shaped patch of rocks there at the bottom of the spring pool. That is the deepest part of the spring pool, and that's the only place in the spring pool for the most part where bare rocks are exposed. So I immediately just kind of said, you know what, I bet you that's where the water is coming from. That's why the fish are there, because these trout are like cold water fish. The colder the better. There is a temperature difference between the perimeter and the actual bottom, right where the rocks are, and you'll see here in a minute. I go down, I put the drone down right on top of the rocks, right in the middle of the school of fish. So those factors, the fish being there, the way they're hovering in a circular pattern, almost like a holding pattern above that rocky area, the temperature difference, the fact that there's no underwater, there's no plant life in that area, it leads me to believe that yes, in fact, that is where the discharge is coming from. I don't know any other way to check it other than to get down in there physically, and maybe you could put your hand in, maybe you could feel it coming up from the rocks. I don't know. I don't think you have to do that. I think it's a pretty safe bet that that's where it's coming from based upon these clues that we found. And right there, the drone died. There's a button on the controller that I hit with my shirt, and it basically just turns all the thrusters off and everything. So I had to pull it back in by the tether, and you can see it here. There's the tether right there. I wasn't quite sure. When I realized what I had done, I just put it back in, and we fired it up here again. Boom. Drone goes back in. Just off to the left right there, that's the baptismal font. Okay, so we head back out to the fish. The other interesting thing here is I wanted to talk about were these fish. These big, white, creamy, kind of orangish, yellowish fish. I didn't know what they were. I had never seen a fish like that before. I'm not a fish aficionado. I think the other ones are probably brook and rainbow trout or brown trout. But there were 6 of these pale colored yellowish orangish fish, and I learned that these are I think this is what they are. I'm not 100%. Again, if you're out there and you know about this kind of stuff, and I'm wrong about this, leave it in the comments. They're called Palomino trout, and what these fish are they're basically these hybrid fish that were bred using a golden trout, which comes from West Virginia, and a rainbow trout, and they got these. And there are 6 of them in this school right here, and one of them looks like it's pretty sizable, and they just kind of hang out with the other ones. I don't think there's any real difference other than the coloring and whatnot. They can get pretty big. I think they average 2 to 4 pounds, but they can get up to 10 pounds. So here I am. I kind of went through the fish to see how they react. They kind of scurried about. I was actually surprised at how well they took the presence of the drone. I'd imagine the thrusters might be a little bit loud. There's the tether going back. The visibility, before it was all stirred up, the visibility was really great. And right there, you can see. You see that? That's the edge. That's where the main discharge. And look at there. It was one of the big palominos right there.